love life is strictly for the bird.
Help! I hate jazz music.
Help! My cat looks like Ruth Buzzy.
Help! I'm worried about crime in the streets. Help me!
People, please, don't worry, I got this. Brought to you by food. Yeah, it's what's for dinner. And lunch and breakfast. Paid for by the Food United Council Clutch. A few episodes ago, I brought up the 1991 movie The Taking of Beverly Hills as an example of a movie that doesn't exist, a movie that no one ever talks about, a movie that has no cultural cachet whatsoever. So this time I want to expand on that and talk about some movies that don't exist, and also some directors who are experts at making non-existent films. Some of these non-existent movies are often big box office hits. I mean, it just means that everyone went to see it, and then as they walked out of the theater, it just wiped from their memory. A good example is 2012's Oz the Great and Powerful, directed by Sam Raimi. This movie grossed $500 million at the box office, and I don't think anyone remembers it at all. Oz was unfortunately sandwiched between 2010's Alice in Wonderland and 2016's Alice Through the Looking Glass. They're just bloated CGI fantasies, and maybe Oz got lost in there somewhere. Roland Emmerich's 2009 disaster fantasy 2012. 2012, remember? No? It made almost $800 million at the box office worldwide. Every single person who I think contributed to that $800 million sincerely regretted it, and they all chose to whisk 2012 into the cornfields. Let's face it, his work tends to have that effect on people. His Godzilla from 1998, people only remember because it has the word Godzilla in it. I would also say to you that Emmerich's sequel to Independence Day does not exist and never did. The movie certainly didn't help its star John Cusack's career. It seems like shortly after this, he started his journey towards red box only movies. While we're on the subject of Roland Emmerich, the king of global landmark destruction has a few of these non-existent films under his belt. Anonymous from 2011, a fictional story about a real guy who may or may not have written all of Shakespeare's plays. But frankly, Emmerich's biggest cinematic non-entity has got to be Stonewall. Emmerich is a gay man, and he deserves props for trying to bring this historic riot to life. But I don't know how he managed to screw this story up so badly. It has a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, which just makes you want to stay clear away from it. This movie managed to give the Stonewall riots negative visibility. So if we're talking about directors whose catalogs are lousy with non-existent titles, the king of all that shit has got to be Woody Allen. Because of what he supposedly did to his daughter, people really don't want to hear from him anymore, but he insists on farting out a movie almost every year. Growing up in a Jewish household in the 70s and 80s, Woody Allen was huge to us. The last movie I remember enjoying from Woody Allen was 1993's Manhattan Murder Mystery. And then it seemed after that it was just an onslaught of unfunny, stilted, stagey, boring comedies completely out of touch. Allen's reputation for churning out bombs was already bad back in 2003 when he made the romantic comedy Anything Else with Christina Ricci and Jason Biggs. The producers were obviously like, maybe if we take his name off the poster, then kids will come. Woody Allen's filmography for the last 25 years, it doesn't exist. Okay, you got 2004's Melinda and Melinda, you got 2006's Scoop, you got 2007's Cassandra's Dream. You got 2010's You Will Meet a Tall Dark Stranger. You got 2012's To Rome with Love. You got 2014's Magic in the Moonlight. You got 2015's Irrational Man. You got 2016's Cafe Society. You got 2017's Wonder Wheel. You got 2019's A Rainy Day in New York. You got 2020's Rifkin's Festival. And just this past year, the French people over in France decided to give him money to make a French language film called A Coup de Chance. I'll tell you one thing, there isn't a coup de chance anyone's going to see that shit. Le film n'existe pas. Let's end with another director who's been cursed with ghost movies for the latter part of his career. Rob Reiner's first directing gig was on Spinal Tap, a movie that I completely obsessed over in 1983 when I was 14 and just getting into rock. I spent months trying to find the soundtrack album only to realize that the album was just completely black. None more black. I even got their 1992 album Break Like the Wind, which is sort of an undiscovered classic, filled with hits like Bitch School, the Arabian Desert-themed Clam Caravan, which has the worst sitar solo ever recorded. And of course there's the rocker Springtime, the only angry song ever written about the changing of the seasons. Reiner and co. are now shooting a Tap sequel, which I can't wait for, but I don't have high hopes for. Rob Reiner had a really successful run of films early in his career, and just about all of them are considered classics now. You have 1986's Stand By Me, 1987's Princess Bride, 1989 When Harry Met Sally, 1990 Misery, and 1992 A Few Good Men. 5 big hits in 6 years, and I think any director would be really jealous to have that kind of run. But soon after that run, things started to go north for Reiner, meaning literally north, the movie North from 1994 north. A notorious flop that caused Roger Ebert to just throw up his hands and go, I hated this movie. After North, it seems like Reiner had a really hard time making anything worthwhile. Besides 2007's The Bucket List, which was a box office hit, this has been Rob Reiner's filmography since 1996. Ghosts of Mississippi, ghost being the key word there. 1999's The Story of Us. 2003's Alex and Emma. 2005's Rumor Has It this movie stinks. 2010's Flipped. 2012's The Magic of Belle Isle, 2014's And So It Goes, and So It Went Away, 2015's Being Charlie, and to top things off, there's 2016's LBJ, something I really don't remember. It might be one of the most inconsequential political films since Oliver Stone's W. I sort of feel bad for Rob Reiner because he seems like a nice person, but no one's going to ever trust him with a big budget ever again. I'll be back soon with more Invisible movies, and oh my goodness, I only got 60 views on my last video. I'm starting to fade away. Mommy, remember me to Herald Square. Thanks for watching, and please like, comment, and share. Most importantly, subscribe and hit that alarm button. Remember, I have a film degree, so you don't have to.